and that was it. And he used to almost have to give her like 2 or 3 or something. And one time, one of the hookers got him. I'll tell you about that some other time or something. But he got them all. He said, I asked him one time at the cloning station, because they would bring him there and ask him what it was like and everything, and like he was a celebrity or something. It was weird, like, and they're all trying to act evil, like they're vampires or something, and he would talk and stuff. And I asked him, they asked me if I had any questions for him. I said, why a ball peen hammer? And he said, well, normal hammer has a claw in it, carpenter's hammer, and if I had to do a second strike, the claw might get hooked on somebody's clothing, one of the girls' clothing, and it might, when on my drawback, it might hook on. Then he's ruined because he was just a skinny old man. And yeah, but Elizabeth used to make me watch them. They have 2 big screens at the cloning station over the stands, one on either side, right, so that people can, in the stands, can look both ways. Well, a lot of people can't watch them. A lot of people want to act evil, so they'll feel safe there, because the more evil that you are, the more they're going to leave you alone. So there's people, man, they psych themselves into believing that they're evil too, just so that they'll feel safe, because they've seen these lizards and people getting tortured and killed, and they don't want any badness on them. So they try to act even more evil than the other people that are there. But yeah, it's
So
pretty bad.
how does this relate to you being afraid that they're going to kill you, but also saying that they can't?
Well, the thing with the can't, they said that, well, a bunch of religious things around the world, including the Vatican, says there, well, not all of the bishops are there, the popes, like cronies, the pope's cronies there, that not all of them are there, but they said that they think that I'm the next comeback Messiah guy. And as I said, I don't endorse these claims. And a bunch of superstitious, super superstitious people said that if I get killed, that it's going to be the end of the world. And they translated that into saying that if I get killed, people are going to know that all the stuff I'm saying is real, and they're going to freak out and the world end faster. But just trying to put it forward in a calm, concise way. Like, they do this lizard thing a lot, like in a lot of different countries. It's not just an isolated thing, and these things walk around all over the place. There is a way to detect them. It's you have to detect them with a CT scan or a MRI.
Okay.
See damage behind the eye and damage the frontal lobes of the brain.
Well,
And
when they do CT scans on psychopaths, there's virtually zero brain activity kind of thing. Like it's all down here at the bottom base of the lower cortex, what they call the reptilian brain. Is that what you're talking about?
I didn't hear that, actually.
Okay. Well,
Never heard of that.
all right. We'll talk about this after the break at thevinnieeastwoodshow.com. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Vinny Eastwood Show. It's our final segment here with Donald Marshall. And I asked him, is there anything you don't like talking about, or something that scares you that you kind of avoid talking about? And he's already said it. So I don't know where exactly to take this from here. In terms of you being the only person who's really coming out and publicly speaking about this phenomenon. What exactly do you expect people to do?
Well, they're going to have to do something about it, because the thing is, sometimes these people, they get a pet lizard, one of their very own. Like Elizabeth's one is called Matilda, and Kissinger's one is called Herbert, right? And they occasionally get a hold of a real kid and bring it to the cloning station and feed a kid to one of these lizards. It's like Alf, the show. Alf runs around trying to eat cats and stuff. Everybody thinks it's cute. Well, these things, their favorite food is a kid, human kid, because it has less vaccinations in it. Because some vaccinations, after a certain age, will, if they drain the blood out of a thing, the Vril lizard will die from the vaccinations, or get real sick, or taste bad or something to them. So they get kids, they put them in a pit with this thing sometimes. I've seen it there. They just point out, showed me so much stuff flat out, thinking that I'd never be able to cohesively put it all together to tell people about it in a believable fashion, and that the technology of doing this is too advanced for people to believe. But after seeing all that I've seen, I have to tell as many people as I can, because they kill people with these lizards, and I don't want to walk around in a world with those parasited human hosts in it. The thing is, what people have to do, it's going to have to be a military thing. Like, the military will have to perform a coup, because I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but Obama is down with the Vril. Okay? Vladimir Putin, he's down with them. They're all scared. Like, the Illuminati thing is a big united thing, but it's united through fear, basically, right? Because if one person comes out and says, "Oh, I'm going to tell," that person dies real quick, and then the other people look and go, "Ooh, I don't want to be the next one," right? But what they're saying about me, with the religious people there, and drones don't want to get X'd out either, so they're really harsh on people that talk about them. So they're saying that I'm the next New Age Jesus there, and I'm not endorsing this in any way, by the way. There's people on the internet that say this stuff, and they're not. They're just crazy people. And I'm not saying it either, but they all say it, and they said I'm in the Nostradamus prophecies and picture book. They said there's a picture of me in it, and that I'm going to save the world from something. And I'm just going to inform the world about the parasitical lizards that the government are letting people get droned, and sacrificing people to gods they don't even believe in, just so it'll be like some dark evil club that they can all belong to something, right? And it goes back pretty far, like long ways. Yeah, it explains on my wall a lot more. I pretty much said just about everything. I mean, I don't know. I was frantic when I wrote my original letter, because I didn't know how to explain everything. So I just stuck to the cloning aspect of everything, because I figured if I put lizards in it as well, people were going to go, whoa, change the channel. But so I pretty much told everybody in phases, just so that people wouldn't have too much to wrap their head around. But it's the most important stuff in the world, like chemtrails and MKUltra and all that is done by them. And MKUltra, you need a clone of the person to use MKUltra on someone. Like, really quickly, I'll tell you basically an example of MKUltra on a person, okay? They get a woman, a beautiful woman. This guy wants this woman, but he's not as good looking as what she usually goes out with. So they clone the woman, and this kid is a rich man's kid. They clone the woman to the cloning station, put her in the center of the dirt ring. There's hockey boards with dirt in the middle, and surround her by a bunch of black girls. It turns out this is her biggest fear, getting beat up by a bunch of black people, a bunch of black girls. So the black girls will push her around. Girl, we're going to beat you up. And she's drugged. And anyway, the guy will come out after a little while. She'll be all scared. Guy will come out and say, hey, leave her alone. And he's a clone too. And he'll walk her clone out of the situation. They'll put this girl, when she sleeps, into different situations where she's in a life or death situation, and have this guy save her. Anyway, they've never met. Now, in real life, they can do this 16 different times, and just corny, straight-out nerdy scenarios, they call them, scenarios. Next time that girl sees that guy in real life, from the visual, she will be automatically predisposed to like this guy and think that she would be safe around this guy, and this guy's like a champion or whatever. Depends on whatever they program in. And it's basically that easy. That's programming right there. They can also do it with fear, so that, I don't know, someone will fear someone the same way that they would be attracted, right? Be apprehensive around the person. It's just all kinds of different technologies that they have, and they found some stuff. I'll tell you, it's written on the wall. It was an abandoned underground Atlantean base. They used to call themselves the Thule, Thule. Well, they had an abandoned base down there. They found all kinds of stuff, and they back-engineered all kinds of stuff. And the Vril Society from Germany started doing it. And then the Americans took their stuff, and the Russians took some stuff too, and then they all started making stuff. Man, but I know about a lot of the stuff. They told me all about it, and I'm telling the world. But, yeah. It's not good because other people have died.
Now, Donald,
For
how did you actually get involved with this? Because you were telling about how it's like elite families and things like that who get involved. How did you get involved? What do your parents do?
well, my mother was I guess, a sex slave there when she was a little kid, which was a long time ago. And but they've been doing cloning like this since 1945. First with Mark I clones, then with Mark II clones with less flaws. Now, she basically
And tracing
she
back,
gave
how did she get into it? Because what I found with CIA and a lot of other programs is that they have these bloodlines, these families that go all the way back. So you might not even have anybody who's particularly important today, but way back in the day they'll have an ancestor who was very important, and all their families subsequent have been enslaved. Is that kind of what happened?
yeah, it could be something like that. They haven't told me ancestry or anything, but the sex slaves they bring there, they call that Project Muffin. Like you hear about Project Bluebeam and stuff. Well, their sex slave thing is called Project Muffin. So I don't know why. And anyway, yeah, they my mother was there, brought her in as a sex slave, basically, and she basically gave permission, like other families do, to let them use me. But that was the reason I was there, solely to be used as like a molestation victim. But then I started busting out with these songs, and they just let me do the songs and different ideas for movies, catch lines in movies and stuff like that, and toy ideas and stuff. And yeah, I made a lot of good ideas, so they kept on bringing me back, and I'd come up with more ideas to keep them from bothering me. But little did I know, I was sealing my doom with them, really. Like, because then they started bringing me there every single night, and all these people wanted to meet me after I made a certain amount of songs. You know, thought that I had some kind of, like, super talents. So then all the richest people around, music producers and stuff, all went there wanting songs from me, too. It's free songs. I guess somebody gets paid, not me, though.
I've said for a long time that there's no creativity left in Hollywood, really. All they do is just steal other people's ideas.
Yeah, well, they do that a lot, not even just with Hollywood. They clone people and get their passwords and stuff and their business ideas under torture. And the person the next day won't remember what happened at all, just will think they didn't have a dream last night, and they feel sick the next day. They have no recall of it at all unless they want them to. And yeah, but I'm telling all about it. Like, some of the things I've seen done there, man. Wow. Oh, and at the Picton farm, he didn't feed all the hookers to the pigs. Some high-profile RCMP, Canadian Mounted Police, and judges and doctors and everything. Some of them are Luciferians, and they wanted to know what human tasted like. So they went to Picton's farm and had a bite to eat and barbecue out in the big warehouse pig farm thing. Just barbecue right out in the middle and fried up a couple hookers. And one of the choicest parts, I guess. And yeah, they ate some of them. They got rid of that house real quick. Like, it's too bad they didn't. They would have seen the screw holes in the corner of the room, the kill room. Man, it's bad. One of his things after he would, well, I know that the cloning center that I go to, the one above ground for the rich people, they like the above ground ones because the underground dumps smell like hospital, right? The cloning center is within 5 hours drive by car in a radius around the Picton farm, because they would speed drive these murder videos from the Picton farm to the cloning station to be watched by everyone at this cloning station. And I remember being there and waiting because they said bring another video from the farm, and I timed it, and I even asked them what time it was, like kept on asking what time it was because they thought that's what I was doing, like guesstimating the distance. But in a radius of 5 hours around the Picton farm is where it is. So there's a lot of land in that, though, but it's most likely in a nature preserve because all that's around this stadium thing is trees. There's no smoke on the horizon, even no air traffic, no nothing. So I pretty much think it's probably a nature preserve somewhere in Canada. Anyway, the vending machines at the place take Canadian change. So
okay, well, let's leave it there because unfortunately we've run out of time.